Hello everyone, Mark Merrill with Firm, Fairness in Reporting Media. It's all about abortion laws, folks. Saving lives? We hope so. Public hearings were held on March 28th in the state of Maine at the State House at the Joint Standing Judiciary Committee hearing room. As you can see the entrance door right here, folks. Fourth floor of the State House, and that went on from not real early morning, but not quite mid-morning until late in the afternoon, the state capitol in Augusta. On firearms and guns, things were going on with that one first, but also, just as important, on the future of abortion laws that were forced on Maine women and families by the Mills administration. Earlier, about going on almost 2 years ago, folks. So, what's at stake, ladies and gentlemen? The Maine Legislature's Joint Committee on Judiciary listened to many public testimony, not only from the general public, folks, but also from those representatives of the Republican Party on sitting committees who do have votes, other than Laurel Libby, unfortunately, for 8 proposed amendments, repeals, preventions, and unconstitutional laws on abortion. There are quite a few House representatives, among those in the general public as well, 2 overflow rooms, besides the Joint Standing Committee room on the 4th floor of the State House. Overflowed to the Cross Building, which is right next door, almost to capacity. And one of those people who voiced their concern about 2 of those bills, mostly to abolish the laws and stop the slaughter of innocent lives conceived in a woman's womb, biologically speaking, was a woman who is a representative in the State House and has been for, I would say, at least a few sessions of the legislature over the last couple of years. The bills proposed against abortions in Maine totaled 6. And so the first of the 2 bills proposed by House Representative Reagan Paul of Winterport, is her name, folks. And that one, first of all, is LD 887. Now get this one here, folks, and we'll certainly publish it as well in our comments and notes, so you can certainly look it up. It's important. These are public hearings. It took place on Friday, March 28th. An act to make manufacturers responsible for proper disposal of abortion drugs and require a health care provider to be physically present during a chemical abortion. Can that not be more specific? I don't see how. But here, in just one audio excerpt that we have time for, we're going to go through quite a bit of her testimony, folks, that lasted a good 20 minutes. She had another bill to go over as well. But as far as this one is concerned, LD 887, make sure you note it down, and you can look it up at legislature.maine.gov/audio. That's where you can look it up. And there's many of them there, folks. It's open and free to the public. You can listen at your convenience. Trust me, we know what we're talking about. I've been through the court system and the State House law procedures, hearings, and work sessions many years, folks, covering State House from 1981 to 1999. So here now is Ms. Paul with just a portion of her proposed legislation for LD 887 on this one of many, but two that she proposed or was actually the writer and lead sponsor of the bill. Get ready, folks. Some of this information may be a little bit graphic, but it's necessary.
As a sponsor of this bill, I stand before you deeply concerned about the profound and far-reaching dangers posed by the widespread use of chemical abortion pills. These pills, which are now responsible for more than half of all abortions in the United States, and now 70% of men's abortions per the 2023 abortion report, are both dangerous for women and lethal to preborn children. LD 887 would require the cleanup and removal of deadly chemical abortion pill tainted human remains and placenta referred to as medical waste by the EPA using red medical bag waste disposal. Currently, women are flushing their children and medical waste into America's drinking water against all common sense practice without regard for public health and safety. Let me be clear from the outset. When I speak of medical waste, quote unquote, in regard to this bill, I am using an EPA term. I am not diminishing the sacred, irreplaceable value of the preborn child lost to chemical abortion pills. These are human lives, tiny sons and daughters with beating hearts, fingerprints, and futures stolen from them. The term is a legal one, but I won't mince words. I seldom do. These pills kill babies and endanger women, and the fallout poisons our water and many souls alike. LD 887 confronts this crisis with love for the hurting and boldness for the truth. The impact of chemical abortion pills on women cannot be overstated. When taken by a mother, the first pill starves the baby by blocking progesterone, the pregnancy hormone, and the second pill forces wrenching contractions to expel the baby, sometimes still moving, as we will see. Women who undergo a chemical abortion are at significantly higher risk of complications, up to 4 times more than those who undergo a surgical abortion. These complications include severe bleeding, infection, blood clots, infertility, and even death. Moreover, the pills can be secretly administered, slipped into drinks without a woman's knowledge or consent, making them a tool for abuse, coercion, and sex trafficking. This widespread distribution, particularly through online channels, exacerbates the dangers and vulnerabilities of women and young girls. A Pennsylvania mother's story breaks my heart, and it should break any heart in this room, in my opinion. Turned away by Planned Parenthood in May of 2024 for being too far along in her pregnancy, she ordered the abortion pills online. According to an NBC report, she took them on May 9th, texting a witness on May 10th, saying, quote unquote, "It just now came out," and quote, "It is like a full baby and it's still moving." She sent photos of her child with the umbilical cord and the placenta, and she wrote, quote, "It has fingernails and lips and a nose," end quote, and reported that she cried when the baby moved. Even Planned Parenthood's Casey Scully admitted, quote, "If you're accessing medication online, it may not be regulated and you may experience complications," end quote. This mother had to face her child and what she had done, and now we must face the reality of this barbaric practice and come to terms that children deserve better than to be flushed away.
Can't get more specific than that, folks. It's horrible to hear, but Representative Paul was very dignified in her description. As we move on quickly, folks, this was just one of the many signs at the State House on the 4th floor where the Judiciary Committee was meeting and hearing all the public testimony, both good and bad, for and against LD 887. We will put it on our notes so you can certainly take a look at it online. Sex traffickers, pimps, rapists, pedophiles all love abortions. Going forward, folks, on this brief edition of Firm, we're talking about, of course, abortion laws, saving lives, question mark. You can only pray and hope. This is a split poster we put up, folks. Over here is Resolve Life Center, owned and operated by Wendy Merrill. No connection, by the way, no relation. Life Center in the middle of Main Street in Waterville, city just north of the state capital of Augusta, for those of you not from Maine. No judgments, no cost, just care. And this lady, I'm sure you've probably seen on the national circuit, folks. Kristen Hawkins, president of Students for Life of America. They recruit, as you can see, train, and mobilize the pro-life generation to abolish abortion. Constantly runs into a lot of women who are very set in their left-wing radical ways. Who are you to tell me what to do with my body? Just saying, folks. Passing it along. Now, this is a poster that should have been viral way back there, folks. Back in, I would say, late 2020, maybe early 2021, during the pandemic, the so-called pandemic. She is not an oppressor, you think? You can use your best judgment on that one, folks. And then next, folks, we have this one right here that we've shown before, and it's already online. But this time it's going to be on a regular basis online. We're going to have it posted behind us as we do our regular mission words like truth, facts, reality, and common sense, as you see. And also, please pray for Israel. And that whole horrible ongoing battle with the likes of Hamas and Hezbollah not living up to the peace accord proposal gets settled with no more dying, no more attacks on our ally. Pray for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But sex is binary, folks. You see what we're talking about here? It's binary. If you can't see the writing above the poster that says that, it also says science confirms it. Keep that one in mind. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our brief program. We are firm, Fairness in Reporting Media. I'm your host, Mark Merrill. Check out our podcasts anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at rumble.com/fairnessmedia1 and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We want your input, folks. We want to know what's on your mind, how you react to some of our programs, especially this one right here that affects many families throughout the United States. Fairness in Reporting Media at gmail.com, Fairness in Reporting Media at gmail.com. As always, everybody stay safe. Peace to all.